Alright, you know the drill. If you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button down below, push the bell-shaped icon called the notification bell, hit the thumbs up because this video is awesome, you already know it will be. Comment down below about any future videos you'd like to see and that you'd like me to make for you, and I'll consider it. And I apologize in advance for this Oklahoma wind. You already know how it is out here in the country in Oklahoma. So, I'm thinking about in the future, by the way, I'm thinking about starting to do interview mode where I interview men and women on their various perspectives on the same topics, just so we can get a psychological inside view of how both men by and large think and how women by and large think, and what can be done to reconcile the two. This video is about the friend zone that most men dread and why you shouldn't dread it, why you should be the one doing it. It's also going to be about, pardon, I got a bunch of little kittens running around here that a stray feral cat on my land just had, and they're cute as a button, but they're very, very noisy with their meows. So yeah, this video is going to be about friend zoning women, about what to do if a woman friend zones you, and why that doesn't have to be a bad thing for you. Most men dread that, and there's nothing wrong with it. This video is also going to be about what a friend even is, if women and men can genuinely be friends, and what you must require of a woman in order to allow her to be your friend. Because most men don't choose women as friends. They flirt with a woman that are attractive to them, and if the woman shuts them down, either because she's married or has a boyfriend, or she's just not attracted to you in that way, you feel the next best step is to be your honor, to be allowed to be her friend and even be in her life. That's not how you should look at it. You also shouldn't look at it as, oh, I hit on her, I thought she was cute, she rejected me because she's got a husband or a boyfriend, because it's fine, she should reject you if she has a husband or a boyfriend. But you shouldn't look at it as, well, I either need to be grateful that she's in my life at all if she's going to friend zone me, or I need to just not deal with her at all because I don't really want to be friends. Because any man that's honest, and any woman that's honest, women know it too, they just like to pretend that they don't know it because there's stuff in it for them, for you to be their friend. But there's not as much in it for you the typical way that it's done, but that's only because that's how you allow it to be. If you set it up right, you can be friends with the woman in the sense that just like she's transactionally being a friend with you, you can transactionally be a friend with her. Because women, the reason they friend zone you is because, unlike you morons, unlike you stupid men, myself in the past included, you don't actually have standards beyond looks. Women are attracted to men with good looks, obviously. Women like tall, dark, handsome men. But you can be the tallest, darkest, most handsome man in the world, and if you don't have a few other things going for you than that, you're going to be a tall, dark, and handsome friend. You're going to be her gay best friend that's not even gay. And that is because women have standards. Some of their standards are absurd and ridiculous. Some of their standards are wonderful and ingenious. The ones that are absurd and ridiculous, I don't want you to emulate. The ones that are ingenious and logical, I want you to emulate, but in the equal opposite male version. So, for instance, a woman might friend zone you because you don't have anything monetarily to offer her. She might friend zone you because you don't have social status, you're not popular, you don't have political power or power in general in a social circle that you're in, at least. There's a number of reasons beyond your looks that a woman might friend zone you. Because women, whether they're right or wrong about what, she might friend zone you because you're not tall enough, she might friend zone you, just for lots of reasons. And like I said, some of those reasons are fine. In fact, you should emulate that, because you, as a man, typically, your only criterion for a mate is she pretty? And that's stupid, okay? I'm not saying that you should friend zone women for the same reasons they friend zone you, because you're a man. You don't care about how much money she makes, because you're not going to typically, she's not typically going to be the one paying for the dates or paying for your bills or paying for your life. And just for whatever reason, socially, that's how we have it set up, that is considered your job to do that in a relationship with her. But you do have things that you naturally care about, and the bills and all that aren't one of them, if we're honest, because because you like having that kind of power. You like being the one paying. You like getting to be the one to be generous and to take care of her. And you like the authority and the power that it puts you in the position of having. And that's fine. But you do need some standards beyond looks. And you have standards beyond looks, but you have let culture condition you to think that you are not allowed to share those standards or enforce those standards. And that if you walk up to a pretty woman that is attractive to you and she likes you, but then she rings off a couple of your red lights and your stop signs when you ask her questions and she answers them and you don't like the answers, you're conditioned to say, well, so what? Yeah, she's got all these red lights, but I should still take care of her and date her and let her ruin my life and drag me down to the abyss with her. And you don't have to do that. If you are like me, I've been in a relationship with a woman for half my life. I married her. She divorced me through the courts, but when I got with her, she already had been impregnated by a child that was not biologically mine, and I consider that child my daughter because I raised her for 12 years of her life. But the situation politically and legally being what it is in America, I would never ever do that again. I don't regret doing it with that child, and that child will always be my daughter in my eyes. But because of what I've learned about how the court systems here and everything work, you have no rights over a child that's not yours. So why should you financially invest all of your money and energetically and emotionally invest all of your energy, your love, your affection into a child that you have no legal authority or rights to parent if their mother just so happens to decide she's not in love with you anymore for whatever arbitrary reasons a woman does? So one standard that you can have, and I'm not saying you have to have it, this is a standard I have now, you don't have to share it, but I recommend it highly, is don't date single mothers. There's some exceptions, if she's a widow and she was a faithful and ride or die type of wife to her husband, and her husband's family will testify to that to you if you ask them and not just take her opinion for it, and her husband just happened to pass away, he got in a car accident, something like that, and she's now a single mother, not because she kidnapped some man's children, not because she fell out of love and then took them from him, not because of anything like that, but because of something that she had no control over and that wasn't wrong on her part. Any woman that just got pregnant by some random dude and then took his kids and just assumed that she by default should get them just because she's the mother, that right there rings off my that's not relationship material for me right there, right off the bat. You don't have to have the same standard as me. You're a man, you can have your own standards. I'm just telling you what I think is wise, and I'm giving you an example. But you need to come up with a list of standards of I will not date a person like this, no matter how pretty they are, no matter how much I like them with the butterflies in my little tummy. I'm a man, and I have self-control. I'm not an animal, and I have standards. You need to do like women do and have standards. And you need to not let women shame you about your standards. Women will shame you about your standards. I mean, women will straight up tell you to your face, I won't date you because you're fat. But then they might have the same amount of fat and weight on their body for their height and frame, and they'll tell you, how dare you call me anything but plus size model. If you said I wouldn't date you because you're fat to any woman, no matter what her size is, no matter if she's 700 pounds and it's obvious, you will get shamed all over social media. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't. It's not polite to call somebody fat. What I'm saying is that women have an inherent double standard where they can say something like, you're fat, I wouldn't date you for that. But you're supposed to call them a plus size model or big, beautiful woman. Okay? You're not allowed to acknowledge that she is fat. She's allowed to acknowledge that you're fat. You're not allowed to reject her as a relationship potential woman for something like that, but she's allowed to do that to you. Just get over all of that, man. You don't have to let women tell you what you can or cannot have as a standard. You can have whatever criteria that you want as a relationship standard, and you can be openly, radically honest about it. Just stop caring what people think, okay? So, you can have as a standard, like I said, you don't want to date a single mother. You can have, unless she's like a widow or there's some kind of logical reason behind it, that she's not just blaming some man for his neighbor. Another standard that you can have, that is you don't want to date a woman who's a obvious, axiomatic, self-evident party girl. And I'm not talking about based on her opinion. I'm talking about you go on her Facebook and on her Instagram, and she got the word girls' night, a couple weekends a month going on. She got Instagrams and Snapchats of her at every club and every bar in your state. No. Or house party or whatever. No. I wouldn't date her. I sure as hell wouldn't marry her, but I personally wouldn't date somebody that I wouldn't marry. I wouldn't court somebody that I wouldn't marry. I wouldn't waste my time romantically with somebody that I would not marry. So, those are just a couple standards. You know, don't date wild party girls. Don't date girls that love to get drunk and then hang out with their guy friends. their guy friends that you and I, as guys, know very well are not their friends and are just guys that they have refused to sleep with at the moment and could change their mind at any time and the guy would be down with it. So, what you should do is when you approach women, have a standard beyond looks. You approach her obviously because you think she's good looking. And then you get to know her. Find out if she's worth dating by your other standards that you should openly admit and be proud of and not be apologetic for. And if she's not, that doesn't mean she's not a cool person. It doesn't mean she's not fun if she doesn't meet some of your standards. It just might mean she wouldn't make a good mother to your children, or she might not make a good wife to yourself, you know? But that doesn't mean she can't be a good, somebody that you can have fun with and hang out with or whatever. But I don't like to call it friends because, like I said, when guys are honest, we are only primarily interested in a girl for a romantic and sexual relationship, marriage, girlfriend, whatever you do those things in the context of. I would do it in marriage. So women do the same thing. They don't only want you as a sexual object like you do, but they only want you most by and large as a resource object. Men objectify women as a sexual and emotional object, and women objectify men as a provision object or a sexual object. Just depends on the kind of woman. And some women want both. The only difference is we'll still be their friends when they're providing nothing of value to us while we provide everything of value to them. That's what most men will do. Most men will approach a girl, hit on her, and if she's got a boyfriend or a husband, or she's just not attracted to him and she wants to be his friend, what she means by that and what he knows she means by that and he agrees to typically is, if I call you up at 2 o'clock in the morning and say I got an eviction coming up and I need $800 for my rent, you'll give it to me because you're my guy friend. Or you'll help me move and load up the U-Haul and drive it for me because you're my guy friend. But when you do the same thing in reverse, she's not going to do that for you, man. And furthermore, you wouldn't do that for a guy friend. You got guy friends that you've known since elementary school that you ride or die for, that you ain't about to pay their $800 rent for them if they're about to get evicted. You'll just be like, why didn't you go to work? Why didn't you earn the money, man? What's going on in your life? You're not going to just hand do $800, $1,000 to pay his rent that you've been friends with your whole life most of the time. But you'll do it to a woman you got friend-zoned by, that you hit on at the bar 2 days ago. She told you no, she shut that down, but then she calls you up and says, hey, I got rent problems. And you'll pay her bills for you because you're stupid. You'll pay her bills for her. And you keep on doing that if you want to. But my recommendation is, when a girl wants to be your friend, you say, okay, I'll be your friend. But this has to be a symbiotic friendship. I'm not going to sit up here listening to all your emotional venting about your boyfriend, about some jerk that you met at the bar that you had a one-night stand with, and I'm not gonna sit over here and move your stuff into your U-Haul for you and pack your stuff up for you and help you lift heavy things and help you with everything a man would help with, and basically be your boyfriend or your husband minus the sex, and then you provide me nothing but whatever you think that your just existence is worth. Because the girl will be like, well, I provide value. I exist. I exist and I'm in your life. That's what you get out of doing those things for me. No, that's not acceptable from a man. You wouldn't let a male friend get away with that if you're doing all those favors for him, and you wouldn't do all those favors for him even if he did do them for you half the time. So don't do that with a female. You say, I will be your friend. I'd love to be your friend, but you got to provide value to my life the way I define value as a man, the same way I provide value to your life the way you define value as a woman. So what you need to do for me is you need to help me out in ways that I consider helpful, just like I help you out in ways you consider helpful. So if I'm going to be helping you move when you get a new place, or I'm going to be, I'm not going to be helping you with your rent, period. No matter what kind of friends we are, I'm not going to be paying your, you run out of gas, that's your problem. But if I'm going to be like listening to your problems, listening to you vent, giving you some of my perspectives and my solutions from what I've learned from life, if I'm going to be helping you move and things like that you expect from a guy friend, you're going to be helping me in some ways that I find valuable. One, because as we've already discussed, as a man, your primary objective is romantic and sexual long-term relationships with a worthwhile, loyal woman. So you need to tell her, you might be in a relationship, you might be married, but you're pretty, and pretty girls hang out with pretty girls. And I know you have a bunch of pretty friends right now, a lot of whom are single. And I know that you're going to meet a bunch of pretty girls in the future that you don't know yet, a lot of whom will be single. And you need to be introducing them to me. You need to be talking me up to them, setting them up on dates with me. That's what you need to be doing. That way, you're providing value to her life, yes, and she's also providing value to your life. She's introducing you to equally beautiful women as her, but that are not in a relationship and that are attracted to you, and she's talking you up to them, and she's like, hey, I met this guy, he's a really awesome guy, we've been friends for 6 months. I would date him, but I was already in a relationship when I met him. He walked up to me and told me how pretty I was, asked my number. I told him I have a husband or I have a fiance, and he said, that's okay. Let's be friends. We can just hang out, and you can introduce me to your single friends. And then she'll tell her friends, so hey, he's a great guy. He's good looking. He dresses nice. He's got his own house. He's got his own stuff. You should go on a date with him, and you tell her she needs to be regularly doing that for you. And that's part of how she can be a symbiotic friend to you. A symbiotic, if you don't know what that means, in nature, there are things that will suck resources from you and suck energy from you and give you nothing in return for it. They're called parasites, like a tapeworm or like a leech. They take from your body what you need to survive, and they provide you nothing back in return. Then there are symbiotic relationships in nature, where something that is not the same species as you and that typically would have nothing for you will offer to take something from you that you need but you have excess of, and in exchange they provide something for you. And there are lots of different species of animals that do this and have symbiotic relationships. So that's what you need to look for in a female friend. If she wants to friend zone you, or if you need to friend zone her for your own personal reasons, which I suggest you be the one to be doing the friend zoning from now on, but every so often somebody might hit you with it before you hit them with it, or they might meet all of your standards so you wouldn't have friend zoned her, but then she's just not attracted to you, or she's got a husband or boyfriend, and that's okay. She friend zones you, that's fine. Just make sure that she's ready to actually be your friend and not just be your parasite. Okay? She needs to be providing value to your life while requiring value from you in her life. So, friend zone women first. Don't just take every beautiful woman's number that you approach that says yes after you found out several reasons about her that you should not be with her. But that doesn't mean you cannot be friends with her. It just needs to be symbiotic. You need to make sure that she's not just going to be sucking value and resources and intellect and experiences and advice and physical and manual labor from you into her life while providing you nothing but the presence of her pretty face. She needs to be bringing you pretty friends of hers that she's always known or that she knows now, and not just any random pretty girl that she already is your friend should know your standards and that she doesn't meet those standards. She shouldn't be bringing you women that are just pretty but don't meet your standards. She should be bringing you women that you would actually be attracted to intellectually, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and that meet your standards. She should learn your standards as your friend, and she should bring you girls that meet them. There's a little itch I needed to scratch on my wrist there, but I'm holding my camera. So yeah, you need to friend zone women that aren't up to par by your standards, and the women that friend zone you because you don't meet her standards. You can be friends with both of these groups of women. You just make sure that they are really friends to you and provide you value in your life, in whatever way you define as that. It doesn't even have to be the ways I just said. I just threw out a couple random things. I know you're a man. I know you like pretty women. That you want to date them. You want to marry them. So one way any woman can provide value to your life is she needs to be bringing you leads, basically. She needs to be bringing pretty women into your life that you would have never met without her. But that doesn't have to be the only thing. I mean, there's other things that a woman, and it depends on the individual woman. I mean, some women have talents and have things about them that don't apply to other women that that would be a good asset to your life to have, and you can make sure she needs to know that that is one of the things she needs to be doing for you and bringing into your life if she wants to be your friend. Okay? So get some standards, for God's sake, literally, like not in a blasphemous way, for literal God's sake. Get some standards. Don't just be dating women because they're pretty, they're there, and they said yes. Okay? There are lots of pretty, beautiful supermodel women who, for various, just tons of reasons, are not a good idea to be dating or marrying at all. They party too much, they get drunk too much, they don't like kids at all, and you want a bunch of kids. They, they got tattoos all over their freaking body that just of things that you're not gonna want to be down with in your life. They're a single mother that has kids by 2 or 3 different men, kidnap the men's kids, put them on child support, and you think they ain't gonna do the same to you? No, you need to friend zone those women. Some of those women you don't even need to friend zone. You need to just keep them away from you because they're toxic. But some of them you can friend zone them. They're just not for you romantically, but they can add value to your life by bringing women into your life that are for you romantically, or they can do other things for you, and you can do things for them, and it can be symbiotic instead of parasitic, the relationship you have. But 99.9% of just friends relationships that men have with women are parasitic, one-sided, only benefiting them, the woman, relationships, and you need to not have none of that in your life. So, friend zone beautiful women that don't meet your standards and get some freaking standards beyond good looks. Make sure that it's a symbiotic friendship or drop them, just like they would you if you didn't give them value in your relationship as a friend or a boyfriend to them. And don't just be somebody's freaking boyfriend or husband minus the sex, because that's what most guy friends are, is an abused boyfriend or husband deprived of sex but expected to do everything else that probably the guys that she's having sex with aren't even doing for her. That's why she's having sex with them anyway. So get some standards for the love of actual God for yourself. Raise your standards beyond just pretty, beyond just she's pretty like you're a caveman, and enforce those standards, whether it be for a romantic relationship or whether it be for a friendship. Enforce those standards. That's all this video is about. Like I said, I'm thinking of starting interviews in some of my videos, and then sitting down women and sitting down men and interviewing them on their various perspectives, and seeing what commonalities there are between most men and women on certain topics, and what differences there usually typically are 9 times out of 10 between men and women on certain topics, and can they be reconciled, and what ways can they be reconciled, and where can we meet in the middle for better overall friendships, relationships, marriages, whatever. So this is Sherrick Official. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Push the bell-shaped icon, ring that notification bell, hit the thumbs up button if you haven't done so already. You know this video was awesome. Comment down below about what you thought about this video. If you agreed with every word I said, if you agreed with some and disagreed with others, or if you hated every word I said and you think I have a punchable face that you want to knee me in 17 times, let us know. We don't care either way. Show us love, show us hate, share the video, make it go viral, and we're out.